Hello friends, welcome back to Digitalk. So Oracle has released the current 14.120 version of the IDM stack. Okay, so IDM specifically from the Oracle is not a single software. Okay, it is a combination of multiple softwares. For example, we have the OAM, which is the single sign-on solution. Okay, and then we have the OID and then OUD. Okay, OID and OUD are the LDAP servers, which is used to store the identity of the users, right? And along with that, we have the OIM, which is now called as OIG, Oracle Identity Governance. Earlier, it was called as Oracle Identity Manager, which is a reconciliation and provisioning solution, which is used to reconcile the user IDs between different source and target systems, right? So that means this IDM from the Oracle, when we say IDM, Oracle Identity Management, okay, so that means we are talking about the multiple product, as I said, OAM for single sign-on, OID and OUD for the LDAP, and OIM, which is now OIG, okay, for the provisioning and reconciliations of the user IDs between the multiple source and target systems. Okay, so that means for each and every stack, now the current version release, which is 14.120. Okay, the previous versions were 12.140 and 12.130, which is in the 12C versions, and prior to that it was 11G, and 11G, these are the specific versions that were in the 11G. There was a long series in the 11G. Okay, and this was the last version of the 11G, which is 11.1.230 patch set 3. After that 12C was released, and in 12C we were have three versions, 12.2.130 and 12.2.140, and after this 12.2.140 the latest version is now 14.120. Okay, so for each and every stack, we have a 14.120 version. Like for OAM, we have a OAM 14.120, OID 14.120, OUD 14.120, OIM or OIG 14.120, right? So now I'm going to explain what all are the new features related to each and every stack in the 14.120 version. Okay, and some of the changes, or you can say the new features, are due to the enhancement or changes in the underlying WebLogic server, right? Because all these, almost all these stacks are the middleware stack, which is built on top of your WebLogic. Okay, and when I say WebLogic for Fusion middleware, we called it as an Fusion middleware infrastructure. Right, this is nothing but a separate WebLogic server installer for the middleware stack. It is not the plain WebLogic, right? So that means now in the 14.120 WebLogic or 14.120 Fusion middleware infrastructure, okay, we have a multiple changes, and one of the major changes that I have explained in multiple previous videos. Now the traditional admin console is no longer available. Okay, now we have the WebLogic remote console. Remote console. Okay, so from 14.120 onwards, you will not able to see the traditional admin console. It is completely disabled now. Okay, so either you have to download the this WebLogic remote console from the GitHub repository of the Oracle, which is a client tool you need to install in your local system, and you can register the multiple domains. Or if you have a certain kind of a restrictions where you can't install any software or client tool in your system, then we have some hosted console as well, which we can deploy in directly in the admin console. Okay, but again, it will be a remote console. It is a completely a new console. Okay, so you will not have the access to the previous consoles, older consoles, which is there till 12.2.1.4 in the Oracle Identity Stack. Right. So due to that enhancement in the underlying application server, okay, we have some new feature that has been introduced in your identity management stack as well. Okay, so I'm going to cover what all are the features that has been introduced in the new session, new versions. Right. Now, apart from that, there is a microservices also introduced from the Oracle also some time back. Okay, for integration of the microservices with your different kind of identity services. Okay, and for that we have the multiple other component that has been introduced, which is specifically designed for the microservices. Oracle Advanced Authentication, which is called Oracle AAA, Oracle Advanced Authentication, Oracle Identity Role Intelligence, OIRI, Oracle Identity Role Intelligence, and then Oracle Radius Agent, ORA. Okay, so these are the different identity services from the Oracle, apart from this stack what we have discussed, which is specifically designed for the microservices. Now, when we say about the Oracle Advanced Authentication, okay, it has three components. One is the Oracle Advanced Authentication, which is called the Oracle OAA. Second is the Oracle Adaptive Risk Management, which is called the OARM. And third is called the Oracle Universal Authenticator, which is OUA. Okay, so that means this advanced authentication, Oracle Advanced Authentication, has three different components: OAA, OARM, and OUA. Right? And these are the separate components. When we talk about Oracle Identity Role Intelligence, it is a different product. And when we say Oracle Radius Agent, this is a separate project. Right? But to get the maximum benefit of all these components, most of the time all these components are integrated with each other to get the maximum benefit of the identity services. So, and these specifically implemented in the microservices. So this I am going to cover in later part, okay, in some other sessions. So right now I am going to cover what are the enhancement in the identity stack of the 14.1.2 version. Okay, so let us start one by one. So first let us talk about the new enhancement in the Oracle Access Management, or Oracle Access Manager also called, which is called the OAM. Okay, so this is a SSL solution from the Oracle, which is called the single sign-on. Single sign on, right? So we have a multiple application deployed across our organization or outside the organizations as well. Multiple applications are there. So we log in once, and then when we access the other portals, then your authentication work automatically. That means you have to log in, you have to provide the username and password only once, and then it will be authenticated automatically for rest of the portals. So for this, we have a solution OAM, Oracle Access Management from the Oracle. And now what are the enhancement in 14.1.2 version of Oracle Management, Access Management? JDK upgrade. Okay. So now the current JDK that is supported is JDK 17 and JDK 21. And this is underlined with the base application server, right? Because for Oracle Access Management, which is completely deployed on top of your WebLogic server, which is the Oracle Fusion middleware infrastructure. Okay, so that WebLogic or support the 14.1.2, it support the JDK 17 and JDK 21. So now your OAM also fully supported with the JDK 17 and 21 in 14.1.2 version. Second, depreciating TLS 1.1. Okay, so for this SSL handshake, okay, for the SSL and security purpose, okay, so the TLS version 1.1 now has been depreciated, which was used, you can say, till 12.2.14. Okay, and now for secure communication, okay, the TLS 1.3 is the preferred protocol. Okay, so that means 1.1 is depreciated, but I'm sure, or I know, that TLS 1.2 is still there. Okay, so that means 1.2 and 1.3 are supported now, and the preferred one is to go with the latest one, which is 1.3, and 1.1 is completely depreciated. Third major change, okay, which was implemented some time back, okay, for many clients when the some self-sign certificate of a simple mode was expired. Okay, now this is completely depreciated. That means support for simple mode communication with access manager has been discontinued. Okay, now what exactly it is, let me give you a small some overview of this as well. So now in the OAM, okay, when we talk about the end-to-end infrastructure, okay, so how it works, we have an OHS, which is the HTTP server from the Oracle, web server from the Oracle, okay, and this in OHS we deploy one component which is called the WebGate. This WebGate is for the communication with the OAM server. So whenever the request reach to OHS web server, your WebGate intercept the request and forward to the OAM. Right? And if required, your OAM can contact the backend LDAP servers, for example, OID or OUD for the username and password. Okay, and then it establishes the single sign-on. Now the communication between your WebGate and OAM. For this communication between WebGate and OAM, we had three mode: open mode, simple mode, and cert mode. Open mode is the default one. Apart from that, second mode was simple mode, and third is the cert mode. Okay, so all these for securing the communication between WebGate and your OAM server. That is first thing. Now, when we say open, which is the default mode, so in open mode, there is no authentication or no encryption between the WebGate and OAM. So that means the communication between your OAM and the WebGate is plain. This data is not getting encrypted or there is no authentication between WebGate and OAM. It is a plain communication, which is the open or default one. Now, this is a simple mode, which is now depreciated. So in simple mode, okay, the communication between WebGate and OAM, okay, is encrypted. Okay, and this encryption is done with the help of Oracle provides single sign-on certificates. Okay, we have a different kind of a certificates like self-sign certificate and the third-party certificates. So for encrypting the communication between WebGate and OAM, there was a simple mode was there. Okay, and in this simple mode, the encryption was done by the self-sign certificate, which was provided by the Oracle, and for which the certificates were expired some time back, couple of months back. Okay. So now this simple mode is completely depreciated. We will not have any simple mode where the communication between your WebGate and OAM is happening with the help of Oracle provided self-sign certificate. This is completely depreciated. So either you go on with the open mode. Okay, if you are sure that your environment is very secure, then you can go with the default open mode. Otherwise, you can go with the CERT mode. So in CERT mode, the communication between WebGate and OAM is going to be encrypted, but not with the self-sign certificate. It is going to be encrypted with the third-party certificates. So you have to go with some third-party certificates, and then you need to apply that one to make the communication secure between WebGate and encrypted. And now this is the recommended mode from the Oracle. So this is one of the enhancement that I was talking about here, that depreciating simple mode. Now, fourth one is rules evaluation. Okay, so that means rules are now evaluated using Graal VM, replacing Jython. The behavior remains unchanged. Okay, so that means the rule engine of the OAM now using the Graal VM, okay, instead of Jython. So that means, let me explain this as well in bit detail. So previously, when we talk about till 12.2.1.4, the OAM use the Jython. Jython is a Java implementation of Python. Okay. So for rule evaluation till 12.2.1.4, the OAM use the Jython, right, to evaluate the policies. What are the policies? Policies define the authorization and authentication, right? So with the help of OAM, we protect multiple resources in our applications, in our OAM. Okay. We grant the different kind of authorization. We grant a different kind of a authentication rules. Those called the policies. Okay. So all these policies were earlier defined in the Python, not Python, Jython, which is the Java implementation of Python, which is now replaced with the Graal VM. Now, Graal VM is a high performance runtime that support the multiple programming languages for rule evaluation. Okay, that means now for rule evaluation, we are using the Graal VM in the 14.1.2.0, which support the multiple languages like JavaScript, Python, Ruby, R, etc. Okay, and now it offers a better performance, enhanced security and isolation, more modern language features. So now this is completely internal, right? This rule evaluation is completely internal. So as an end user, you will not have any impact on this. Okay, it is an internal implementation which is going to increase the overall performance of your Oracle Access Manager, right? So this is the other change apart from this one. Last one is disable secure mode. For new installations, disable the secure mode domain by selecting the disable secure mode checkbox. So this is referring to one of the new feature of the WebLogic server 14.1.2.0. So in this 14.1.2.0, a new mode, secure mode has been introduced. Okay, and for which you are going to get the option when you configure the domain. Okay, so when you select the domain to creating it in the production mode, so it is going to give you some one more option to enable the secure certificates, okay, for your domain. So that you can disable when you are configuring the domain if you want to disable the secure mode. Okay, and let me show you with the screenshot. Okay, so this is the screenshot of the domain when you will create the domain in the 14.1.2.0. Okay, so where we get the two options, development and production mode. So when you will select the production mode, okay, then it automatically enable the SSL options there. Okay, that means it is now recommended from the Oracle. If you are creating the domain in the production mode, you have to enable the SSL. And for that, this new feature has been introduced in the domain creation wizard. Okay. So when you're creating the domain and you want to disable this SSL, then you have to select this option, which is called the disable secure mode, right? And this is the option it is talking about here. For new installations, disable the secure mode domain by selecting the disable secure mode checkbox. So these are the changes in the Oracle Access Manager in the new 14.120. JDK is now supporting 17 and 21. Depreciating the TS 1.1 is completely depreciated. Now you have to go for either 1.2 or 1.3. The simple mode of encryption between WebGate and OAM is completely depreciated. Rules evaluation is now not using the Jython. It is with the Graal VM, which is the internal implementation. You don't need to worry about that one. Disable secure mode. So if you want to disable the secure mode when you are creating the domain for the OAM, okay, then you have to select the disable secure mode, and where exactly it is, I have shown to you here, right? So these are the changes in the 14.120 version for the OAM. Now let us talk about the changes in the Oracle Internet Directory. Okay, so there are very straightforward changes. There are few changes in the Oracle Internet Directory 14.120. Okay, few changes are similar to just we have seen for the OAM. The first one is JDK upgrade. So now because your Oracle Internet Directory is now supporting the base WebLogic server 14.120, so that means now the supported JDKs are 17 and JDK 21. Again, the TLS 1 point is completely depreciated in the Oracle Internet Directory. So that means you have to use either TLS 1.2 or TLS 1.3. And third is the same, which I have just shown to you in the OAM, disable secure mode. So that means when you are creating the domain, this one, when you are creating the domain in the production mode for the Oracle Internet Directory, okay, and you want to disable the secure mode, then you can select this disable secure mode option. So these are the three changes. So there is no major changes specifically in terms of functionality. Why the major changes are coming? That is just because of the base WebLogic server, which is now 14.1.20, and because of that, now we don't have the traditional admin console, right? So that's why you will see the changes due to this enhancement of the WebLogic server enhancement. Otherwise, these are the three other changes, okay, in the OID, right? So this is I was talking about when we create in the production mode, you can disable it from here. Now let us talk about the changes in the Oracle Unified Directory. Okay, so again in the Unified Directory, the changes are almost same as we have seen for the previous OAM and then OID, but there are certain more changes. And what are those changes? Let me explain you. The first is same. JDK is now supporting 17 and JDK 21 in the Unified Directory 14.120. Second is the Berkeley Database Java Edition upgrade. Now, this Oracle Unified Directory is a file system based directory server. Okay. For example, if I talk about the OID, Oracle Internet Directory, it has a dependency on the database because it stores the username and password access and all the policies in the database. But Unified Directory, OUD, okay, this is a file system base. That means all the data, user data, policies, everything stored in the file system base. You don't need any database here, right? But internally, this OUD use the Berkeley Database Edition, which is integrated in the OUD, okay, inside the OUD, where it store all the details, username and everything. Now, this Berkeley Database Java Edition has been upgraded, okay, to the latest version, which is the 7.5.18. Right. So again, this is an internal. You don't need to worry about that one because your OUD use this database internally. Okay, so this is an internal enhancement. You don't need to worry about that one. Okay, everything will be taken care by the OUD. This is just for your information that the current version is now 7.5.18. Okay, and this is going to improve the performance of your OUD. Third is again same. The TLS 1 point support is depreciated. You have to go with either 1.2 or 1.3, right? Then this is a disable secure mode. This is again same, which I have shown to you previously for OAM and OID, that when you create the domain, okay, for disabling the SSL for the production mode of domain, you can select disable secure mode, right? This one I was talking about. And this is when you create the domain. Now, other important change, okay, and this is underlying due to the WebLogic 14.1.2.0. Okay, the support of PKCS 12 as the default key store. So now if we go till 12.2.14, the default key store is JKS, right? We create the JKS key store and then we configure the SSL using the JKS key store. So now by default, it is PKCS 12, which is the worldwide standard. So now that means self-signed certificate are now stored in PKCS 12 format by default, providing stronger encryption and improved compatibility. Oracle recommend that you switch the key store format of the existing security configuration to PKCS12, which is industry standard format now. So, okay, that means if you are upgrading your OUD from the previous version 12.2.14 to 14.1.2 or from any of the previous versions, so now it will be in the PKCS12 format. You may need to change your JKCS or JKS key store in the PKCS12 format. There are some state format commands for conversions. So these are the enhancement in your OUD. Now the last one is Oracle Identity Governance, OIG, which is mostly the people still referring as OIM, Oracle Identity Manager. Okay. So till previous version, some of the previous versions, it was referring as Oracle Identity Manager. So now it is referred as OIG, Oracle Identity Governance. Now what are the changes? Some of the changes are very common, and let me quickly explain you what are the common changes. JDK upgrade is same, JDK 17 and JDK 21. Right, FMW upgrade, that means the underlying WebLogic server which is used for the OIG is now 14.1.2.0, which is the nothing but Fusion middleware infrastructure, which is a base application server for the middleware stack, right? So which is 14.1.2.0 now, right? And apart from that, disable secure mode is same, but we have been talking about so far. When you are creating the domain, you have to select the disable secure mode of option, okay, to disable the secure mode for your production when you're getting domain. Right, now apart from that, the other specific changes with respect to your OIG, okay, this is the first one. OJET update, JCS uptake, third party software upgrade, IDCS or IDS uptake, and accessing the new reinstallation page. Okay, so let me explain you all this in detail. So OJET uptake, this is a UI screen based on OJET, now use the version 17.10 with Redwood theme, providing a fresh look to UI. So this is specifically an enhancement in the user interface of the OIM. Okay, so now the UI screen based on the OJET and the latest version is 7.1.0 with the Oracle Redwood theme. So this is completely a UI enhancement. Okay, nothing apart from that. And now what exactly it is, let me tell you. So UI screen based on OJET now version 17.1.0 with Redwood theme providing a fresh look of such UI. That means this OJET stands for Oracle JavaScript Extension Toolkit, which is used to build the web interfaces, specifically in the Oracle products. Right, so that means till 12.2.1.4, okay, the UI for the OIM or OIG, it was developed using the JavaScript Extension Toolkit, which is OJET. Okay, now in OIG 4.1.2.0, the version of this OJET is increased, upgraded. It is now using the 17.1.0, which is come with the update components, performance improvement, and multiple bug fixes. And it also introduced the Redwood theme, which is the Oracle's modern UI UX design language. Okay, so the benefit we are getting for this modern, consistent, and visually appealing UI, better accessibility and responsive design, improved end user experience when accessing the identity governance task. That means overall look of the user interfaces of OIM along with the performance when you navigate to the multiple options in the your different options in the UI screen. The overall performance along with the look is going to be changed now. It will be enhanced. Okay, this is the OJET update. Now when we say JCS uptake, now what is JCS uptake? So JCS uptake is a cache has been replaced by the JCS, which has better distributed caching support and more advanced memory management. So when we deploy our OIG governance or OIM, in the clustered environment, okay, then it utilizes the cache, okay, to improve the overall performance of your Oracle identity governance. Okay, so JCS here refers the Java caching system. This JCS update, this JCS is the Java caching system. So earlier, till if I say about 12 to 1.4, your OIG previously using the EH cache. This is a caching mechanism. That means the old caching mechanism was EH cache. This EH cache is now replaced with the JCS cache. Okay, which provide you the distributed caching. Cache can be shared across multiple nodes or servers, advanced memory management, more efficient use of server memory. So overall, this is again an internal enhancement. You don't need to worry about that one. This is just for the information purpose, that now the EH cache has been replaced with the Java caching system to improve the overall performance of your Oracle identity governance. So that means the overall, it will improve your scalability. The performance will be fast and it will be more reliable. So this is the JCS uptake, right? So that means this OJET is completely internal, where you may feel the performance enhancement or the changes in the UI. JCS is again an internal cache management which is implemented. So as an end user, you don't need to worry about that one. Similarly, third-party software upgrades. So there are multiple third-party libraries are included in your OIM for multiple kind of integrations. Okay, so now all third-party libraries are also upgraded. Otherwise, what happened that the Oracle upgraded the products, but the corresponding third-party software libraries could be old, which may need to be replaced later at a time manually. Okay, so now with the OIG 14120, okay, the multiple third-party software libraries are also upgraded with the latest versions. Right now, the last one is the IDS uptake. So for this IDS uptake, I haven't seen much detail about still on the many Oracle portal or specifically in the 14120 documentation. I haven't saw any of the information about this one. So the update that I am giving you here, okay, this is completely based on my understanding, on my experience. Okay, so what does it mean when we say IDS update? This IDS stands for Identity Services. Okay, this is a newer internal service layer in Oracle Identity Stack. So this is again an internal. You don't need to worry about any kind of a configurations. It will automatically taken care by your Oracle Identity Governance. This is just for an information purpose. So earlier, if I talk about till 12.2.14, your OIG relies on the direct use of role of APIs. Okay, it was using the direct user and role APIs. For whenever it is calling the users or role, it was using the corresponding APIs, which has a limitations in the large scale or high load environments. If you have a very large enterprise business or enterprise scale of environment where you have a high load in your system, so this was a bit slow. So for this, now the IDS has been introduced, which is optimized for performance, scalability, and high availability. That means with the help of this IDS stake, this default user role API based user and role call is going to be replaced with the IDS, which is going to improve the complete end-to-end performance of your OIM. So now, in a nutshell, okay, in a nutshell, what do we say? This specifically in the OID or OIM, or you can say the Oracle Identity Governance. These all are the internal changes for increasing the performance of your OIM. So you don't need to worry about that one, right? Now the last one, which you may feel in the console, accessing the new reconciliation page. Okay, so reconciliation is a method of creating the users in the OIM from the trusted sources. Okay, for example, from the HR database, you want to migrate or copy the data, user data in the OIM or in the OIG. This is called the reconciliation from the trusted source. Okay, so now this reconciliation page has been moved from the default location. That means the reconciliation page UI has been moved from system administrator console to the self-service console. So now this is a very major change here. The reconciliation UI, which is currently in the system administration console in till 12.2.14, it is now moved to the self-service console. Okay, and new OJET based interface is now available under manage system configuration and reconciliation. So now, as I said, now the UI has been enhanced for the OJET based. Okay, and this UI you will get inside the manage system configuration and reconciliation. So this is one of the major change that you will feel, okay, in the 14.120, where your reconciliation page has been moved to a different locations. So these are the changes in your Oracle identity governance, right? So what we have covered what are the major enhancement in your OIM, which is the Oracle SSO single sign-on solution. What are the changes or new features in the OID and in the OUD, along with that in the OIM, which is now called the OIG, Oracle Identity Governance. So these are the microservices are the complete different products, okay, that we will cover in the future sessions. Thank you.